student is in class 12. So is the stress of choosing and making an option for different subjects. So he has to choose, and what has to be chosen is a huge stress upon the student who is there in class 12th. So some of the students, they choose engineering, some choose medical profession, and some of them go for an option of law as a career option, and they take admission in different law schools and colleges. Now, nowadays, because what happened is, earlier I sometime very lightly and jokingly said the time we joined law, it was a kind of a default option for us. We used to think, okay, let's do law also. We have done this, let's do law also. So that was a kind of a default option sometime for many of the students, and they enter in this profession of legal profession by default also, because since they have joined law, by default they wanted to do something, but they said, okay, let us do this also. But by introduction of 12+5, the legal education in India has taken a very serious beginning. And now a student who is in class 12, he seriously chooses law as an option, and he intends to seriously study law. Now, who can study law? Because some of the qualities to be a good lawyer and to join a law course is something like a person who is very proficient, very good in communication. And if somebody is good in communication, good in debating, so this is one of the qualities of a good lawyer, and one who is keen in logical reasoning and has analytical skills and capacity to read and invite the logic of the legal education. He has a place in law. So these are some of the qualities of a student who really wants to go into a law as a legal option and a legal career. So to now, what happens is, how a student who has passed 12th, what are his options and how he should go about legal education. Now, the first thing is that there are options available, and there are very different kind of entrance tests for all different kind of law colleges, universities. Now, first is the very famous law test is CLAT, which is the common law entrance test or common law aptitude test. So, common law admission test is basically, it is for the reputed law schools. And then you come, there is in Delhi, you have NLU, Delhi University, Dwarka. So they have their own different entrance exams, which is called ELITE, is All India Law Entrance Test. And then you have Amity Law School's ALS test. Then you have Delhi University Faculty of Law, where you have 3 years course. Then you have GLC Mumbai test, Government of Law College Mumbai. Then you have ILS Pune, ILS test. Then you have Quill test, Qualified Lawyers Transfer test. Then you have SSLC Pune, Symbiosis Society Law College Pune. Then you have Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University test, which is also called ENDALU Chennai. So these are all entrance tests which are being held. Then you have over and all, you have LSAT. you have a SAT. If you want to go to US and you sit for scholastic aptitude test. So this for undergraduation colleges. Other than in that, you take engineering and other education in US. Then US has a LSAT exam, which is being adopted by institute like IIT Kharagpur, OP Jindal, and Amity Law School. They take your LSAT marks for being admitted in these law colleges. So these are the tests you have. Then you have these colleges provide you different kind of education. One is a 5-year course. Your 5-year course, you can have the second, along with law as a main subject, you can have BA, BSc, BCom, or BBA. So that is combined with your 5 years law course. And then you have 3-year degree courses, law degree courses, which you do after graduation. But here we are only talking of law as a career option after 12th. So law as a career option after 12th, you have only those entrance tests and colleges which offer you 5-year course, like Delhi Metropolitan College, like yours, your college. And then you have so many colleges, since you are affiliated to the Guru Gobind Singh IP University. Then you have in Noida and UP, you have got colleges of Chaudhry Charan Singh University. They also take 5-year courses students after 12. So these are some of the options available for entering into a law degree course, which is 5-year course, 12 plus 5. And then thirdly, what happens is, once a student is there in a final year of his law course, then the law education becomes a bit serious. Why I say a bit serious is because there you have an option of choosing your specialization. You have an option of choosing your specialization. You want to go to corporate law, intellectual property law, criminal law, civil law, company law, banking law. So all kind of options are available, tax law. So when you are in a final year, you go towards the more seriousness of the legal education, because here you comes at a point where you really want to decide that yes, I have studied all kind of subjects in my 4 years, but now my 5th year, I am going to concentrate on a particular subject in which I want to specialize, and later on practice that specialization in the field of law. So that is one. That is the option a student in final year chooses. Now, what are the options after? These are the options when you choose law as a career after 12th. Now, what happens when a student who passes his LLB degree? So LLB degree, once he passes the LLB degree, then there is a AIB test. You all know you're running institution for last more than 6 years. So this is All India Bar exam, which after passing the LLB degree, one has to take, which is conducted by Bar Council of India. And Bar Council of India is a statutory body constituted under the Advocates Act 1961. So Bar Council of India conducts the All India Bar exam, and there the students, though some people say that it's a very easy exam, but let me put you on caution, all students who are trying to come to the field of law and practice law as a profession. So All India Bar examination, maybe it is very easy, but still the passing ratio of this exam is only 70%. 30% students do fail in this exam also. Then they have 2 years to take another exam. They can within 2 years take exam. So then once you take the All India Bar examination and you passes, you go to State Bar Council. If somebody is going to practice in Noida, UP, or any part of the Uttar Pradesh or Delhi, then they have to go to UP Bar Council or Delhi Bar Council office. They have to apply. Then they, once they apply, they are enrolled as a lawyer. They get a license to practice. Once that license is given by State Bar Council, a student is entitled to practice law in any court, whichever he chooses. Now, what are the options available for a law graduate? Now, in what field he can go and practice? Now, some of the options which I would like to tell. One is the litigation, which is one of the most favorite field for every new coming lawyer. That litigation. So litigation, he can start criminal litigation on the criminal side, civil side, labor side, service side, or on the he can go to the, nowadays there are many tribunals like Competition Commission of India, or you have TDSAT. You have the for now this banking tribunal which has started, and it is a very lucrative tribunal practice nowadays. And then you have DRT also. So when somebody chooses litigation, he has so many options. Then one can be a corporate counsel also. On the corporate side, there are so many options available, and one can go into corporate side. Then one of the very favorite option which is being chosen by students immediately after passing the law degree, that is judiciary. So judiciary, I must inform you all students, earlier before this new system was introduced, to becoming a Delhi Judicial Service, to appear in the Delhi Judicial Services exam, one was to have minimum three years of practice at bar, and then he was entitled to appear in the Delhi Judicial Services exam. But today there is no requirement of an experience by a fresh law graduate. He can straightway from the college apply to appear in the Delhi Judicial exam and can be a judge at the age of 23. Even I have seen in Delhi Judiciary DJS exam, when law graduate who passed the DJS exam in the age of 22. So you have judicial, then you have civil services also after, because you have two main subjects. So law is one of them. Then you can choose another subject which may be your BCom, BSc, or whatever the main subject is. Then one can be another good option is to become public prosecutor. That also straightway can be applied from the college, and you can appear for public prosecutor exam. Then another very lucrative option which has now come up, which was earlier not there, that is a judicial clerkship. Now judicial clerkship, they are the law researchers. So these law researchers, they are in High Court and they are in Supreme Court. So I tell you, in High Court, nowadays a law researcher gets about 50,000 rupees per month a salary. And in Supreme Court, he gets about 70,000 rupees a salary. So law researcher or a judicial clerkship is also one of the good options. Then one can opt from media and publication. In publication, you have so many law journals. So one can become author, one can become the editor, or assist in the law publication. And then you have this. Then you have the media also. So media one can join after law. Then you have the LPOs, the legal process outsourcing firms. So the legal process outsourcing firms, then they can, after if they join a LPO, the law students, the law graduates, they provide very intelligent solutions to the overseas clients, like document review or a support, contract vetting. So all these can be done in the LPO. Then you have academia, like Dr. Dr. Bhavesh Gupta is there, Dr. Naresh Bahal is sitting there, Navjot is there. They are all the law graduates. Vedapriya Lahiri is there, Ravi Kanji is there. So academia is one of the good options. And for that, one has to, because the NEET requirement is there and it is, then one has to complete the LLM also. So LLM, after completing LLM, one can join as one of the academicians and can teach law in colleges, universities, wherever he gets the option. Then there is another field which is called a social work. So lawyers probably and arguably are the best equipped for undertaking social work, as they are aware of legal rights and obligation of all strata of society. So one can do meaningful work like National Commission for Women, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, National Human Rights Commission. So these are all fields where one can actually do some social work. And then you have the NGOs. So many NGOs are working. You find that students every day here, like nowadays in a COVID pandemic, so many public interest litigations are being filed for providing treatment, for ferrying these workers who are staying in all parts of the country. So these NGOs, in these NGOs, the law graduates are also working and taking part in so many activities of the NGO. And then, so there are so many other fields which are being open for bids. So this is the very short, brief view what a 12th pass student can choose law as a career. And I just caution one thing, that anybody who's coming to law, there is a quote which was said by one senior lawyer of the Supreme Court. He said that do not look law as a means of making money. Look at law as an instrument for securing justice to people. So, and that being so, if you are someone who wants to serve the people by fighting for their justice, someone who believes that truth shall always prevail and wants to protect the interest of the people, a career in law is the answer. It is not that nowadays what happens is everybody thinks that after passing law and going to the courts or going to other places, I immediately will be start earning huge money. I tell you, for the students after passing law degree, those who are coming to courts, there is a big gestation period. At least it takes somebody who is like me, who is a first generation lawyer. So for a first generation lawyer, I'm not talking of the students or the law graduates who comes from the family of judges, comes from the family of senior advocates, comes from the family of highly placed bureaucrats. I'm not talking of them. I'm talking about persons like me, persons like other common persons who do not have anybody in the legal field, and they enter the legal field as a first generation lawyer. So for a first generation lawyer, along with his hard work, he has to put in hard work for at least 4-5 years. 4-5 years, he should not think that he will be earning big. He will be making two ends meet, but definitely for making big money and making a big name in the legal profession, one has to have a patience. And patience is this time you have to devote. And early 5 years, if you are there in this profession, definitely you are going to go and going to go big. So,
there is a sir, there is a query of one of mine. I'm Dr. Bhavish Gupta. You have rightly said, sir, that there is a gestation period.
Yes.
Very rightly said. It has been observed, sir, that a student very enthusiastically enters into the field of law and starts practicing. But somewhere after 6 months, because of the tough competition and because of this, so many colleges and so many the students turning up to the practice, he feels frustrated. And then after 1 year, I have seen, sir, they leave the job, they leave this profession of the practice and starts doing something else. So how to, sir, overcome with this situation with a young budding lawyer when he faces this frustration in his life?
Dr. Bhavesh, thank you so much for this question. You're asking me. This is a question which is boggling the minds of all in the legal field. So, in Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, district judiciary, and so many persons from this field, they feel that yes, the number of the percentage of students who pass law degree now is decreasing who come to the actual legal practice because of the question you raised. Because nowadays everybody feels that let me go to corporate.
Right, sir.
So they feel that they can make good money from the corporate practice. But I tell you as a litigator, I must tell you, Dr. Bhavesh, there is nothing like litigation. It's when you enter the litigation field, it's a very challenging field. It's a very unique field, and then you are there to. I just quoted that quote. You are there to serve a noble profession. So what happens is, it is happening that there is a default. There are people, those who are coming and then leaving because of frustration, because of the challenging which they are not able to cope with. But to answer that, I must tell you, if there is a law graduate who comes to practice and join, nowadays even the if they join some individual litigator or a law firm or anywhere, they are being paid. I tell you, district court, I must say that yes, there may be less payments. But in High Court, I must say with responsibility that a fresh law graduate who joins some law firm or some advocate, he gets enough at least to sustain himself. He may not be able to help the family members, but he is definitely can sustain himself. That much he gets. So to sustain and to remain in this field, so one has to have a patience, because that's why I said that it requires, if the gestation period in this field is little more and longer than any other field, because if he has a patience and he can sustain, because patience is virtue, and if he remains cool and put his head down and concentrate him on his job, I don't feel that there is any turning back for him. So the patience and to have courage to go into the field, that can only help. But it cannot help people, those who feel that yes, today I will enter and by tomorrow I will start earning. That's why I said that quote. It is not for those people. It is for those people who really wants to serve and who know that yes, the law is a field where truth prevails. So naturally there is a gestation period, but nowadays in Delhi High Court we've started the platform where we can take on new law graduates and can connect them to some law firms, or that's a placement cell like you run. So this would be my answer.
Thank you so very much, sir, for responding to my query. Sir, there is one again query in continuation to that question. There
Yes,
are
sir.
so many law colleges. They are mushroom growing of the law colleges, which are not bothering about the quality of the education that is to be delivered to the law students. So many students, they go, there are no classes. If you go to Meerut on NH24, you will find, sir, so many colleges, no teachers, no mushroom growing. They get the degree easily, and so this is one of the drop feel and wanted to know from you, sir. If the thing goes on like this, what will be the fate of all these students as there is a crowd coming to the profession like this without studying, without knowing the basic intricacies of the law?
Sir, this question is also one of the very burning questions, because it relates to the legal education system in India, and because it is controlled by the statutory body Bar Council of India, because they are the one who are responsible for maintaining the standards of legal education in India. I tell you, I had been standing counsel for All India Council for Technical Education, which governs the technical education in India, engineering colleges, management colleges. So I was there for 4 years. So the problem is that I am blaming my own people. The people, those who inspect. Because you see, when you apply to start a legal education college, so you apply to the Bar Council of India, and then there are inspectors who goes to the field, and because definitely you have seen the medical education. Now the Supreme Court is sitting over it and monitoring everything. So in this also, I'm not saying I'm not going to say rosy things, because wherever the Inspector Raj is there, where the inspectors are given power to approve. So once they have a power to approve, then their power is sometimes misused, and then you come across all these colleges which are run from small areas which do not have minimum eligibility criteria, but then still they are there. But leave it them as it is. let us talk of education institutions like Delhi Metropolitan Education College, like yours. Even in UP also, I feel that there's a Lloyd College, and there is I went to Innovative Law Institute also. Wonderful faculty, wonderful university. So there are good colleges also, but let us leave the bad one. Let the good ones create a name and send better students to the field.
Right, sir. Very true.
So we have a thank you for the answer. We have a question from one of the student that can you please tell us about how can we pursue our
Navjot, the questions from the students will be taken afterwards.
Okay, sir.
It was only through the moderators that the session was being moderated. All these questions, there will be 15 minutes have been reserved for them.
Okay, sir.
So let the speaker, please, it's an honor for us to listen to him. Please.
Sir, Dr. Bahl speaking. Sir, continuing the initial query raised by Dr. Bhavesh, sir, would you like to support the idea that we should have some norm, if not legislation, that a senior lawyer should always pay to his juniors? Because we have seen in the High Court and Supreme Court a senior lawyer having more than a dozen juniors, but they are not paying anything to the juniors. So would you like to comment on this, that we should have some kind of legislation for this?
Definitely legislation or some kind of notification can be issued by the Bar Council of India, because ultimately they are the one who are governing the legal education as well as the conduct of lawyers through the state bar councils. Now, I definitely, Dr. Naresh Bahl, I am definitely with you for any kind of legislation or any kind of notification which puts a senior lawyer to pay a bare minimum to a junior or to an associate who comes to him. I just give you example of myself. From my chamber, I think till today, more than 80 lawyers have passed my chamber. They have gone to different fields, and out of 80, I say 10 are judges in different places, and so many of them are working in big law firms, and so some of them are working with that is also one of the options for law graduates. ILS, Indian Legal System Services. Indian Legal System Services. They also have option for the new law graduates. So I can I can with pride say, no, I have never taken a lawyer in my chamber who was not paid. So people have to themselves take. I give you an example. Earlier time when we started our practice and we were juniors, we were not paid. So we used to tell the senior, sir, कुछ तो दो, घर जेब का खर्चा चले. तो वो डांट के ये बोलते थे कि अबे पैसे मांग रहा है, तू मुझे पैसे दे, मैं तेरे को सिखा रहा हूँ. So that was the tendency earlier. Exactly. That was the tendency earlier. But now, barring few, I'm not saying that everybody is 100% they are paying, but maybe 1-2%. But every lawyer pays a junior, even they are paying to the interns also. Nowadays, their payment is made to the interns also. Your interns, if they join some office, good office, they are being paid. So definitely, I will definitely move this idea to the State Bar Council that they should have some kind of legislation, some kind of notification, some kind of regulation, so that and that will help the young lawyers to join more. Because
exactly, sir. Exactly.
And if there is a regulation, definitely the number of people joining litigation will be more, because they know that their future is protected. At least they will get their pocket money.
Yeah, exactly, sir. And I'm
So,
thankful to you because you have referred the judiciary as one of the major options for the law students. And sir, at our college, Delhi Metropolitan Education, at Sector 62 Noida, we are running a judicial training academy. And we are giving pro bono training to our final year students for
good.
taking this civil judge junior division examination.
Very good. Very
And
good.
sir, I would like to add that a person can join judiciary after 7 years of practice also.
No,
He
that
can
is
join
for
directly as
no.
higher
That
judicial
is
services.
no. That is for higher judiciary. You see,
Right.
there are two levels of exams in the judiciary.
Yeah,
One
I was
is
referring
the
to second one. Yeah.
the one is the DJS, which your fresh law student, law graduate can join.
Right.
And then there is a higher judicial services. So higher judicial services, you require 7 years of minimum practice,
Exactly,
35 years of minimum age, and
Yeah.
then some income tax return.
Yes, sir.
So all these requirements are there, and if you are running some kind of academy or for making good judges, it is a wonderful idea.
Yeah, we are running academy in our own college. Yeah. And sir, how do you think that this creation of All India Judicial Services will be an attraction for new law students?
Sir, this is an idea floated by many. Even the law ministry is looking into it.
Yeah, sir.
But,
bill is pending. Yeah.
Yes, bill is pending, but I don't feel because every state has its own constraints. Like you have seen, like you've seen in COVID, the Chief Minister of Delhi said he will take only Delhi patients in their hospitals. So All India bill is pending. I don't know it will be a reality or no, but definitely Delhi has no constraints. Delhi take everyone.
Mm-hmm.
We have South Indian judges. We have got judges from Bihar, UP, Nagaland, everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but in states.
But sir, same is in IS and IPS services also, sir. Same scene. Same people are managing IS and IPS job also.
That is the All India Civil Services exam. So there these things are not there, but in states they want to retain some percentage of vacancies for their own residents. So that becomes a problem. That's why All India services for the initial entry level, like MM or civil judge.
Yes.
I feel it could be according to me it's good, because then you got better merit judges, because
definitely, sir,
competition is then very furious.
Yeah, at least good exchange of talent from one state to another.
That is always there. Brain drain is always an issue.
And sir, one more specific question. If in 5-year integrated course, all the 5 years only law and only law is taught, what is your opinion? No other non-legal subjects like economics, political science, geography, English.
I think if it is only law for 5 years, then I think you will have the best of the judges, best of the lawyers.
Excellent.
Because
excellent.
Because their mind is focused for 5 years.
Yes.
They don't have to just spend time for somebody may be weak in economics.
Right, sir.
So therefore, somebody may be weak in mathematics, but he has taken BCom and there is a mathematics subject.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a problem for him. But if he studies all 5 years law, like LLB 3 years degree course.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
So
that sir, we as 3 years.
Rather, sir, it has been observed that these non-legal subjects like political science, sociology, and all other non-legal subjects, they create disinterest amongst the students. And after 2 years, the student loses the interest in the field of law because of these non-legal
Naturally,
subjects.
then he feels like, oh, I have studied BCom also, so let me take some other field, not the law.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
So if they 5 years
But sir,
law,
yeah.
I am
Like sir, you and me having three-year law degree course, we never
Yes, sir.
studied political science, we never studied economics, and still we are doing good in the
I
field
did
of
my
law.
MA in sociology, which is good for nothing for me now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, Professor Dr. N.K. Bell has been a very great lawyer, and now he's a great academician also, and he has been a retired district judge. So he's an epitome of knowledge, Professor Dr. N.K. Bell. So the queries that he is asking is very genuine, and you have very rightly responded to the queries. Thank you so very much, sir.
Genuine and the need of the hour.
Need of the hour.
And if you ask me as a student, then I will definitely answer Dr. Naresh that yes, I want to be in a college which only teaches law in 5 years.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
No other
Thank
subject.
And sir, if you see in many other private universities, in LLM, you will find most of the subjects are irrelevant. In 2 years, I don't know what are the subjects they are teaching, except the major law subjects. The other, I mean to say that those subjects, they have nothing to do with the legal major law subjects.
Dr. Bhavesh, if you ask me, LLM, if somebody asks me, one of my friend, he one day in the canteen he asked me, "Yeah, my son, because my both sons have studied in US. So my elder son is a engineer come lawyer from US.
So nice, so nice.
He was asking me if that is one of the best combination and deadly combination. Engineer come lawyer is a very deadly combination for intellectual property rights.
Field.
So what happens is this gentleman was asking me that my son wants to go to study LLM in US. So since you are an experienced person, please tell me and guide us.
Right.
This answer I am giving for all those who are listening me.
Okay.
So I said, how much you are going to spend? He said more than 50 lakhs. So I said, if you are spending more than 50 lakhs and you are asking him to come back and practice in district court, then please don't spend. Buy an office for him and ask him to be junior to somebody, but he must have office right from the day one. So after he finishes his juniorship, he must come back to the office, have a feel of the office that yes, I own an office.
Right,
so
sir, right.
That is going to help. I always say LLM, if you want to teach in some college or university, LLM is best, but otherwise it is only a decorative degree.
Very true, sir.
It doesn't help you in your legal practice. A law graduate practicing in the field is enough. That your 3-year law or 5-year law, because LLM is not going to help you more in practice. So that's a field for academics, and that's a field for teachers and professors.
Right, sir, right. Navjot, you were trying to say something regarding your university, LLM. You want to say something?
No, sir. I did a 1-year course, LLM course. So that's all I did. But then it was essential because I wanted to go for teaching. Now I'm pursuing my PhD.
That's what I'm saying. That LLM otherwise, if you don't want to teach in a college or university, it is not going to give you some push in the litigation.
Very true, sir. Very true.
So any other questions? I am here.
Navjot, now you may take on the participants' queries. Please.
Okay, sir. So, sir, we have a question from one of the participants that can you elaborate that how to pursue our career after law in United Nations organization? as an Indian delegate.
And an Indian delegate.
Yes, in United Nations organization.
That is a very special and specialized question. I do not know that how do you enter in the United Nations organization after passing law. Then some expert has to be there. I'm sorry.
Ask that participant to practice in India.
No, I do not know. I do not know. He will have to tell me. He will have to tell me what is that field which he has come to know that he can join in the United Nations organization. Because if it is some kind of a job, then definitely he has to apply, and he has to be eligible for that job. And if he qualifies that, he will be definitely in the United
Yeah,
that organization.
I think I am also not aware of this, and he is basically, I think, asking with respect to being an Indian delegate representing India in United Nations. So I am also not aware if Behel sir could throw some light if he has some knowledge on this.
I think that is a political assignment. Party in power, if they want to send you as representative in United Nations, and if you are qualified for that, you have well-versed knowledge about the international laws also, then government can send you as Indian representative there. That's purely political assignment.
Thank you, sir. We have one more question, that the UGC in its latest meeting approved simultaneously dual degrees for students in India. So for a law student, which degree can be, pursued along with the LLB?
5 years or 3 years?
No, sir, they're talking about the dual degrees.
So dual degree,
that
you have the, so you have the options. I have initially in the beginning I told that when you go for a dual degree, you can have a degree of BA, BSc, BCom. So all these options are available. So it depending upon the choice and the field the student wants to choose, the dual degree can be there in the subject of his choice.
We have a question. I think Behel sir, you can answer this. That if we yes, sir.
Jatan sir, I would like to ask a question. Means there is a kind of I don't know, mesmerization, I will say, that students want to go abroad for studying law, and I don't know. I feel that they end up spending money, and the learning as compared to the Indian law schools, the learning in foreign law schools is no better. So what is your opinion on this?
Sir, I have a mixed response on this particular question. So if somebody is going to do because there are in US and in UK, there are different kind of courses. So in US, the law degree after graduation in any stream, the law degree is called a JD. That's called a Juris Doctor. So that if somebody passes law degree from US, I feel my son is a JD. I feel that he is not good for Indian legal education system because the law which he has studied, that's why he is in Singapore doing patent law. So though US and UK and India, we have a common law system. The subjects like we study in India, we studied criminal law, the murder penal provisions are same as in US as well as in UK. But other things, then passing a degree from US, then the choice is very limited here in India. But yes, in UK, when somebody passes a law degree, there are so many people coming to going to UK, passing a law degree and coming back to India and practicing. So we have a common legal system. So that's why, and I miss your question. What was the exact question?
My question was that how do you compare the legal education in legal education abroad and that in India in terms of quality?
Like, comparison, if you ask me as an Indian, Indian legal education system is the best by introduction of 5 years course, and by coming of these NLUs. As on today, I am a product of like Navjot's father and me. We are all product of Campus Law Center. Okay. And if we see 3 years degree course and we ask what are the best 10 colleges in India for passing 3 years LLB course, and we find Delhi University Campus Law Center as one of the best first five or first three. So that's why I say our legal education system is the best in the world, and also the cheapest, barring few universities who are charging very
means I don't want to take the names, but yes.
So
there are so many whose fee is 10 times that of any IP college.
And I tell you, sir, today in India, best of the judges, best of the lawyers, none of them have studied in US or UK. They are all.
I think, sir, Dr. Swami wants to say that degree is more ornamental. Degree from a foreign country is more ornamental.
Yeah. Sir, one last comment or question, I don't know what to call it. Like today's webinar is about the careers after law, right?
Yes.
So when I look at the Indian history, Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Patel, then Gokhale, and then from 47 I come to 2020, and I find that whether it was the late Arun Jaitley ji or Ravi Shankar ji, means I don't know, being a non-law person, I feel that politics is also a career for the law people.
Yes, yes. So, I tell you, I am...
Because most of the successful politicians are lawyers. And not only in India, even abroad, whether it is Obama or people like that.
Dr. Ravi Swami, let me tell you, I am also a bit political because I am in the bar politics for last 25 years. So you missed other side also. Like you have Dushyant Dave, best of the lawyer. You have Kapil Sibal. You have Chidambaram. You have
Abhishek Manu Singhvi.
So all Abhishek, and they are all they were all bar leaders, most of them. And they are connected to political parties, different political parties, and that's why they say that the country was earlier, the freedom was given, and it was the lawyers helped that to get that freedom. And today also the lawyers are fighting. The lawyers are at the forefront everywhere in every sphere of life. So your question was that...
Yeah, so probably we can say that politics is another great avenue where the advocates can excel.
Yes, yes. Social life, social work, I said. Politics is one of them. Nowadays, I know a couple who is teaching politics. The couple in my family, both are from Harvard and this thing. They teach politics. They have an institute. They teach public policy. So public policy is connected to the politics. So
very right.
So, Behel sir, would you like to throw some light on a question asked by a student that after doing law, how can we go for choosing a career as an assistant professor?
Well, I think, Navjot, you are equally competent to answer this question. I would like you to answer this question.
So
Please.
it's very important for you to first complete your LLB, then go for LLM, and then after LLM you need to qualify an exam NET. And from 2021 onwards, it's mandatory for you to even be done. You have done your PhD, so PhD is becoming an important aspect now, which was not earlier. So that's all. And we have another question that if I want to pursue LLM in corporate law, so you which university you will suggest, or which institute is best for this?
Well, the best is Delhi University, Campus Law Center, or ILI Delhi.
Yes.
These are the two centers in my mind. I will not name any third. Campus Law
University
Center
is the
DU
best.
and ILI is the best. Yeah.
So Bhavesh sir, would you like to add something?
The sir is forgetting about Aligarh Muslim University, one of the pioneer university, Allahabad University, BHU. They are the traditional universities. So the list is very long. You see, Navjot,
Yeah,
it's not only
Yeah.
that these two are there. No doubt, they are that the traditional universities. They are the pioneer universities. You see,
Kurukshetra University is
it's
also
a
there.
dream. It's a dream for a student to do the law from
Okay,
these
so,
universities.
I can see the loyalties for their alma mater.
Yeah.
That's always there.
So that's all.
Or our eminent speaker has said that most of those successful lawyers, most of the successful judges, they have not studied from the abroad. They have not studied from the best of the
Yes,
universities. They might have taken their degrees from the villages, sitting near the pond, sitting beneath the tree, and they are the
Yes,
successful
yes.
lawyers and the judges.
Yes, of
So we
course.
must learn from the eminent speaker. And thank you so very much, sir,
Thank
that
you,
the
sir.
way you have made this, the career and the law as a 360-degree covering each and every angle in a very broad aspect. Thank you so
Sir,
very much, sir.
Sir, I'll give you an example.
Yes, sir.
Mr. R.K. Anand, Bhavesh ji,
Ji, ji.
Mr. R.K. Anand, our senior advocate.
Yes.
Ji.
So nowadays, so there are so many, but
Right, sir.
he was made a senior advocate, and you know from where he passed his LLB,
Sir.
from Ghaziabad.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
And he was he is still a very successful lawyer, very and he remained chairman of the bar council also.
Right. And sir,
So
you yourself is an example to others, as you said that you are the first generation lawyer.
Yes,
And
I'm
so
president.
you yourself, and sir, you see the way that you are having vice president also into the politics, and throughout this 1 hour, I have seen, rather we all have seen that enthusiasm in you, the love for the law is there, that is very much reflected in today's
Thank you, sir.
lecture.
Thank you so much.
That will be cherished by the DME, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. It is my pleasure. Let me just say thanks that you have invited me to this webinar, and it is my pleasure to speak on this webinar with the eminent people like Dr. Bhavesh, Dr. Naresh Bahl, Ravi Kanji, Navjot, and Veda Priya. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Bhavesh sir, I would request you to please propose a vote of thanks.
Navjot, words are really very short. The way sir has explained the various options, various careers which can be opted by the law student. Today we felt so much privileged being a law fraternity, that we belong to the law fraternity. Today's lecture will be a turning point in the life of all the participants who have and especially the fact that he is a very first generation lawyer. I think this is in itself sufficient for the others to lead their career in this path. Thank you so very much.
Thank you,
so much.
Thank you,
participants.
sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
There is one
everybody.
more request.
Yes, sir.
We would love to have our eminent speaker in our college for some lectures, and for that, Krishna, your lecture.
I'll definitely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll definitely keep in mind. And once we are done with the pandemic, hope to see you all soon in the
Yes.
college, and
Yeah.
we'll start with the
Yes.
events the way we
Thank
conduct
you.
the events and all.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so very much.
So
Thank you,
I'll
sir.
thank you all the participants and keep on joining us. We have an webinar on 24th as well. So the details will be sent to you all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.